Okay, Kemal, Furkan, thanks for joining me. We are live. Why don't you guys go ahead and introduce yourselves and your background just so my audience can understand who you are and what you're building.
Yeah, for sure. If you want, I can start and then give the words to you, Furkan. I'm Kemal, and first of all, thank you, Connor, for having us in this great podcast and vidcast, maybe I can say. And I'm Kemal, and I'm co-founder of Atrexio and Otorepa. And in this podcast, we will mainly talk about the Otorepa. If I just say who is Kemal briefly, and actually in university I studied political science, and it's completely different than my expertise. But I'm a self-taught developer, and I'm a mobile developer as well. And after few years, maybe I can say, for this experience, Furkan and I decided to create our own product development company, Atrexio, and we met within 15 years ago. We are friends from college, and in Atrexio, we develop many products all together, and the journey brings us to creating Otorepa as well by time, and maybe at this stage, Furkan can give more information about our story and Otorepa as well.
Okay, and thanks, Connor, for this opportunity. And I am Furkan. As Kemal said before, we are friends from the high school, and also I am working as founder for 10 years. I built lots of startups like e-commerce websites and auto spare parts industry works. And last time we built mobile application startups and also Atrexio and Otorepa. We have really long story, and it's going well until now. And in Otorepa, we just started for this beginning of this year, and we are building a marketplace for auto spare parts industry in Turkey. We are trying to unify and digitalize this classical industry for the big market like Turkey. I can summarize it for.
Yeah. No, that's helpful, and we'll get into what you're building with Otorepa in a bit, but I kind of want to back up, and you guys said you've known each other for 15 plus years, and why did you guys both decide to pursue entrepreneurship? And then correct me if I'm wrong, but I was looking at your LinkedIn profiles, and it looked like right out of university, you went straight into building companies and did not work for somebody else. Is that accurate?
Mm-hmm.
And if so, like, why did you guys choose this path? You know, it seems not super traditional. I think typically people work for somebody else, realize they don't like that, and then explore starting their own company. But you guys just went right into it. So why is that? And where do you get that entrepreneurial spirit from?
Yeah, both of us have different stories and different and a bit interesting stories in this journey. Normally, maybe when I was 13 or something like that, I decided to be a diplomat, and I decided that I will study political science. Even just I'm a kid, and I pursued this ambition, maybe I can say, and I studied political science in university as well. And in university for the master, I received an offer letter from University College London, and I thought myself that, okay, I will go UK and I will study and I will continue my academic career in London. And I also received a Prime Minister's scholarship as well at that time. But just a few months before the academic season start, the governmental system of Turkey has changed, and the prime minister became presidency, and they told me that there is no scholarship, so you cannot go to master with this scholarship. And it was a big shock for me, and that's why I decided to continue my academic career in Turkey. But after a few years, I noticed that I don't want to be part of very static career. I feel something very strong and inside me to create something new and solve problems of people. And that's why I noticed that, okay, I need to create something new, and I need to, how can I say, manage my life. So all decisions should be taken by me. It can be failure, it can be success, but I don't need to convince anyone to take a certain step, because if I need to work for someone else, I need to convince them to take the steps together. But I told myself that okay, I want to create something new and I want to manage all these things. So the only choice for me is creating my own journey. And also we are pretty familiar for this with Furkan because naturally as a teenager, we played so many games all together and with our other friends. And we made so many practices to working together. And we say that, okay, the traditional path is like just join somewhere else, work for them, and then create your own journey. And we thought that why not changing it a bit, just creating our own venture and experience us with these journeys. And the story just began like that.
I have a different story than Kemal, kind of romantic story, actually, because when I start university, after first year, I met a girl and I fell in love with her, and also we decided to marry. And when we want to marry, we have to make money actually, and so, but at the same time, I don't want to break the university. And at that time, I was thinking that if we found our companies, we can be our boss, and so I can spare my time with school and my company at the same time. It was hard, and I always decide to go my company. But for that reason, I and my wife, my actual wife right now, we built our own company, and she made necklaces and rings, and I create our own e-commerce website. And after that, we start our e-commerce websites, and we built our first company with that purposes. And after that, I was think that if I can do it for myself, I can sell it for everyone else on the world. And so I start my another agency as a founder. But it's our story, so that I haven't worked for anyone else until now. I start just for my works.
Very cool. And then can you guys maybe talk about maybe any advice for people that are starting ventures that have co-founders, considering you guys have so much history together? How can you work well with somebody else, or what are the best practices you guys have found? Because I'm sure you've had disagreements over the years, or there's always tough decisions that you need to make. So how do you guys manage that process and make sure that, there's some friction between you guys, but you always agree on where you're headed with the companies that you're building?
Maybe for this question, it's a pretty tough question, by the way, because we have a bit unfair advantage, maybe I can say, because we met with him when we are pretty young, and we just thinking about friendship. There is no interest, there is no expectations, etc., and we were just friends. And along this time, I think one of the most important thing for us, the games we played all together with our other friends, because during these periods, especially strategy games, we noticed that we have some patterns in our behaviors, and we getting to know each other very well. And by time you started to be able to manage all the frictions and all disputes between yourself. And I think aside from that, the most important thing for managing a company together with your co-founder is trust and open communication. This is the most important thing for us, because to be honest, Furkan and I are completely different people. Our maybe almost all ideas, all beliefs, all think, and maybe a bit personality as well is different and in the other side of the spectrum. But for example, if there is a problem, we directly say that we made this, but I don't feel good about this decision, or I don't want to see this behavior again, for example. And we are asking each other's the things we felt, or the solution, possible solution to solve all these problems. And by time you are getting used to manage your partner as well. So there is two things in short. If you create a trust between your partner and be open in terms of the communication, the all other things is manageable and not a problem at all.
So I agree all of things that Kemal said, and I can add one more thing. And doing entrepreneurship has cons at the same time, like pros. On the negative side, for example, I bankrupt 2 times until now, and you should understand it's a trading, and everything can happen, especially if you are living in a country like Turkey. Everything can change immediately, and you should adapt very fast. And so, being a co-founder at that condition, you shouldn't blame your co-founder for any situation. Actually, you should be open. You should be try to focus on the solution. But if you starting blaming each other, there is no solution. There is no co-founding. There is no entrepreneurship. I believe that if you are blame anyone else, any of your partner, you shouldn't be an entrepreneur, I think.
Because I think you can find new clients, you can find money, or you can find opportunities, but the hardest thing is finding a companion on your journey, because as all maybe entrepreneurs said, it's really hard to find a good co-founder who you can trust and feel well to working with. So I think that because of your co-founder, you might lose money as well. If it's not just forget everything, negative things, and just keep going. I think this is the most important thing.
Can you guys expand on that? So it sounds like there's been a couple instances where you've lost everything, which, why keep going? Why not say, okay, this isn't for me. I've lost everything. I'm just going to go get a job working for somebody else. What's your guys' why or motivation to keep going?
I can answer this question because personally, I bankrupt for this 2 times before Kemal. And it's about the current rate changes in Turkey. And when we are doing this e-commerce websites, we are buying raw materials from the abroad, and we were selling it in Turkey with Turkish liras, so that there is a problem for that area, and so we bankrupt because of it. And when I bankrupt, I have to sell a house and a car to pay my debts. And at that time, it was really hard because I have a boy, and I married with 7, and we just think that we have to start again, because we are young, we are strong, and also I was think that I don't want to work anyone else, because it's not about me, and I tried something hard and something different, because lots of the people are already working for someone else, but I don't want it. I haven't do that, and it's kind of what's the word, Kemal? Resilience. We can say that actually being an entrepreneur based on the resilience you have, actually. And also, my surname is Yılmaz, and it means resilience in English.
And help me understand, it's the exchange rate that got you in trouble? You're buying things in other currencies and trying to sell them in lira, and the volatility of the Turkish currency caused you to fail? Am I understanding that correctly?
Yes.
Okay. And then maybe really quick, just because I'm curious, I'm in the US, I've never been to Turkey. I'm just curious what the culture is like from an entrepreneurial perspective in Turkey. Are you guys kind of an anomaly or unique in that you're starting your own companies, or is there a big culture of entrepreneurs doing what you're doing in Turkey?
And we can start, I think.
Yeah, maybe I can say that it's just growing. Maybe in the last 20 years, maybe I can say, or 15 years, the startup ecosystem and the startup culture, or being a founder, is being more popular, because maybe you already know or read in the news, the economy is fluctuating. And maybe I can say that in each decade, Turkish economy fluctuated, and there is upside downs during this period. For example, Furkan bankrupted one of his business just because of in just one night the currency is increased too much, and you cannot manage your cash flows. And that's why experiencing this kind of thing force people to create something new and more flexible. I cannot say that being an entrepreneur is a common culture in Turkey, but I can honestly say that it's getting popular, and this popularity will increase because there were in just within the last few years, maybe I can say, there were some unicorns, decacorns, and there are so many funds, VCs, DVCs, and many accelerators who try to expand this culture in Turkey. So I can say that it's not pretty common, but it will be more popular in the next decade, maybe I can say.
Also, I can say that commonly, your family, most of the family, suggest you working with a company with insurance. They are saying because you have to pay your bills and etc. In general, general attitude still same in Turkey.
Okay, very interesting. And so maybe let's pivot to kind of to where companies that you built where you've had more success. And I want to start maybe just briefly Freelancer CRM. I saw that on your LinkedIn. Maybe you guys can talk about that. If I am understanding correctly, it was acquired. So maybe you
Yep.
could talk through what that business was and how you scaled it to a point where it was ready to be acquired by another company.
Yep, for sure. Maybe I can start in this question. And actually, a few years ago, we were also co-founders of a startup called Omnicourse. Furkan, I, and two other co-founders just started a company called Omnicourse, and we get funded in this startup. And during this period, one of our co-founders arranged a hackathon for his company. He also invited us to create something new and create some, how can I say, interesting thing within this hackathon, so motivate others as well. And we just joined this hackathon, and within 48 hours, we created a CRM for freelancers. Because we were freelancers as well, and we experienced that there were no good CRM tool, basic CRM tool for freelancers. And we told each other that we can build something like that at that time. And as we were co-founders of that startup, we didn't pay attention to Freelancer CRM. But after a few years, we just leave that startup and we turn back to our own development company at Rexio. We say that, okay, we have our clients, but we had this project as well, and we already completed. So let's just expand the features a bit and make some marketing and invite other people to use it because we already created it. So why not try our chance? And thankfully, just after a few days, we completed the product and polished the product, and we started marketing. And in a very short period of time, people started to use it, the Freelancer CRM, because we noticed the problem is very accurately. They want a CRM system, but it should be very simple and clean. And that's why we got so many users for this application. But naturally, it was a side project for us. We couldn't give our focus to it so much, but it was growing, and we talked with Furkan about it, and we say that it's growing, but we cannot focus on it too much because it's a good project, but we don't want to convert it to a startup and just follow it completely. And we said maybe we can sell it in some platforms. And we just listed the application in some platforms, and one of the US startups reached us and they told us that we'd like to acquire your platform completely because it's an Android application, iOS application, and the desktop application as well. So they want to acquire the company completely, and they'd like to merge this product with their own product as well. And we say that it's a great opportunity for us as well because we want to make exit too. And we, after a few months, maybe I can say, we just closed the deal, and we also made an exit during this period as well. So it was a pretty unexpected but funny and enjoyable journey for us.
Got it. And then can you guys help me understand your decision making? Like when you tell me that this was growing and it was attracting a lot of users, I'm not that your focus. Is this also when you were building Atrexio? Is that the other venture you had going on at the same time? And so maybe you could kind of
Mhm.
walk me through that decision making, right? Because if I hear you say, "Hey, we built this product and it's growing," it seems to me, why not follow the growth of that product and try and grow it into something really big, making, thousands of users, hundreds of thousands of users, and just go all in on that.
I think I can answer the question.
Yep.
It's actually based on decision. When you want to grow something, you should have desire more. It's not kind of logical thing actually, because if you have enough desire, you want to focus that product and that startup. Even if you don't have any desire, even if it's logical, you don't want to follow that way. But it doesn't mean that it's not desirable. It's desired for someone else, but not you, because we just want to explore new things with Kemal, like AI and the other startups focuses at that time, so that we just want to sell it, and it seems it's going well right now, because it's not our desire, but it's desire of someone.
Yeah. So it kind of comes down to passion. If you're not passionate about
Yes.
building it, then it likely won't succeed. Is that where your thought process is coming from?
And exactly, yes.
So can we also talk, you guys mentioned that you were freelancers. Can you kind of articulate or clarify what specific services you provided from a freelancing perspective? And was this also kind of your introduction to entrepreneurship where you said, hey, I can freelance and offer these services to anybody and essentially make my own business out of it? Can you guys talk about that a bit?
Maybe at that time, I can say that Furkan's journey is a bit longer than myself, but for us, maybe I can say we both are self-taught developers, and before Atrexio and his company as well, we did some freelancing jobs for other people. And this is the basement of Atrexio also, because we just started doing working as a freelancer for other people's platforms, and we created Atrexio as well. And by time we say that why not creating a larger company, the product development house for this, because we noticed that our clients were pretty happy to work with us, and they really like our solutions. They really like our how can I say behaviors, and also our open communication with them. Because if we notice that there is something wrong, we say that we think that it's wrong, we shouldn't do this. Or for example, if we make so many meetings, we told them arranging this kind of meetings is wrong, we should focus on product, etc. And these kind of things were appreciated by our clients, and which also led us to create Atrexio, because we talked with Furkan and say that yes, we have experience in this site, and we gathered some feedback from our clients as well. So why not with this culture creating a company and give this culture, perspective, and methodology to others, and by time it creates Atrexio and other agencies as well.
Makes sense. And then I'm curious, just for others out there, maybe like a recommendation for somebody that's interested in entrepreneurship. Would you recommend maybe exploring freelancing? Is that a good entry point if you want to start your own company or kind of dabble in entrepreneurship? Looking back, would you recommend that for others?
I think as a starting point, freelancing is a best choice, because you are selling your expertise, and you can make money for living. But at the same time, you should, for example, for myself, I split my time for freelancing and my companies, so that because when you start a company, you don't have enough money. You can't gain money immediately, so that you should resume your life at the same time. So that freelancing is a good choice for when you start, when you at beginning but I think it can be a good option for first-time founders, especially.
Exactly, and I also think that the freelancing is something between the working for someone else or working in a company and funding your own company. Because if, for example, let's say for a developer, if you are working in a company, you are not responsible for managing client expectations. It's not your job. But in freelancing, you also need to manage their expectations as well and manage all this client psychology as well. So it's like something between being a founder and being an employee somewhere else. So if you think that, by the way, I don't think that we should promote being a founder too much, because it's completely based on your character. And if you do not feel better in this area, you shouldn't be in founder side, because it's I can say that there is some rewards in this part, and you can maybe reach so many achievements. But if it's not fit your personality, you shouldn't continue and consist in this part too much.
Yeah, can we talk about that a bit? Like how you guys manage that stress or manage everything? Furkan, you mentioned that you're married and have a family, that you freelance, that you guys started at Trexio, you sold Freelancer CRM, you're building Otorepa. How you manage so much at once, and how you still live a balanced life and are able to enjoy things. Is there anything specifically that you guys do to help achieve that?
For example, I can start that point. When I was starting my first company, and also until last 2 years, until 2 years ago, I was working almost 18 hours per day, almost 18 hours per day. And it's really unlogical, I think, I'm thinking for now, but at that point, I was thinking that if I work more, it can be a reward more, but it's not working like that. And so I can suggest that you should keep your work-life balance very strict, I think, because, for example, 2 years ago, we decided with Kemal, for example, 6 p.m. we are leaving office, because otherwise we are continue until the night. But someone waiting for us at home, and we should rest. But for when I was younger than today, I was thinking that if I work more, I can gain more, but it's not working like that. So I can suggest that keeping balancing, gain more energy for future, for continue this kind of entrepreneurship process. And also I can suggest that doing sports is one of the best choice for this keeping stress more or less. Kemal, I can give you.
Yeah, exactly. I 100% agree with you. And to be honest, we couldn't balance that previously, maybe I can say, as Furkan mentioned, because we put more efforts on the work side, maybe I can say. So the work-life balance is not balanced sometimes, but we always try to make things easier. And I think that also it's about our partnership as well with Furkan, because of course you are a person, and I think that being a solopreneur and the solo founder is really hard thing, because sometimes I just think myself, you are a human, and just one day you cannot feel happy. It's a case, and you need someone else who might motivate you, or who can take your responsibilities of that day, and so you can rest at that time. So I think that be finding a good companions and allocating time to your family and your friends, your girlfriend, boyfriend, and also spending some time for physical activities. For example, Furkan and I play tennis or go for swimming very frequently. These kind of things really recharge yourself. So just take some rest if you feel a bit tired, maybe I can say, because even if you work 24 hours per day, still there will be some tasks and jobs you need to do. So you will never complete all of the things.
Yeah, I think that's good advice, right? And I think having that long-term mindset, right? You don't need to build the amazing company tomorrow. It's going to take years.
Exactly.
So
Yeah.
you need to be patient, and yeah, so great advice. So let's talk about kind of current state where you guys are today. Trexio, you guys have mentioned it. Do you want to start there and maybe clarify exactly what you guys offer? I think I have a pretty good idea, but maybe just for the audience as well, so they understand that company that you're building, and then we can kind of shift into.
Yep, for sure. Trexio is a product development company, and basically we are building mobile applications or web applications for startups, corporates, or SMEs in general. And we have developed more than 40 products until now. And we have our in-house team, which includes designers, UI UX designers, developers, and the project managers. It's already has its own methodology, as I mentioned, being created in freelancing. And our model is a bit different as well. We created a subscription model. We say that product development as a service, like a software as a service thing. So just our clients come to us and say that I want to create a product, but I don't want to create a product team for myself, or I don't want to expand my current product team. So I need your expertise and your help. So we say that there are three packages we can offer you, and based on the man hours instead of the man day pricing. So we say that we have a project management system, we can onboard it to you, and we can create something amazing together. So this is the briefly Atrexio. And maybe before moving to Otorepa, I can say that when we found Otorepa, we knew that Atrexio is a company itself, and Otorepa will be a company itself. So we need to share the responsibilities a bit. Otherwise, we cannot focus the companies to make them really successful. So we created a 80-20 rule between us. So I spent 80% of my time to Atrexio and just 20% of my time to Otorepa, and vice versa for Furkan on the Otorepa side. And maybe from this point, Furkan can talk about Otorepa a bit more.
Okay. Otorepa is a company for focusing on the auto spare parts industry in Turkey. And we are building a marketplace for people who are working on that industry, just closed marketplace. There is no end user, end customer, sorry. And if you want to sell or buy something, you have to have company about the auto spare part industry. And it's something like Amazon or Alibaba, we can say that. And there's no unified marketplace focusing on this industry in Turkey. And so we are solving a big problem because there's a 20 million cars in Turkey. And because of the currencies, no one wants to buy new car. They just want to repair their own cars. So industry getting bigger and bigger day by day. So it's $15 billion per year in just in Turkey. It's a really big market. So we are just doing beta launch last month, and we want to launch next month with our stores. And also we are at the investment round right now. And it's working like that. I can summarize.
So how does it work in Turkey currently if you need to buy spare parts for your car? What is the current process for just someone every day in Turkey that needs to buy a spare part for their car?
If you are an end user, you have to go to a repairman, and repairman for example, say that you need an engine or you need a tire or something like that. And also he or she suggests you, I can buy for you or you can buy yourself. No one wants to buy yourself because you don't know anyone else and you can't find the correct parts. And so repairman buying for you. And that means, at that point, repairman wants to, repairman calling the other stakeholder that he or she know each other directly, and everyone calling each other until finding the correct parts. And when the part is found, they are selling each other with adding commission to price, and for end user it's really higher price for that point, because sometimes it's selling for 10 times until reaching to end user. And also repairman doesn't get any money actually for that process, enough money for that process, but he or she spent time for finding that parts because he had to solve that problem, and we are solving this problem accurately.
And so the goal would be that you buy your own parts and then you bring it to the repairman, or are people in Turkey fixing their own cars? Is that also part of it, where you can get your own part and you do the repair yourself?
Actually, it's possible, but no one can do it. No one wants to do it because it's really expensive thing, cars in Turkey. For example, cheapest car is a starting price is 30, cheapest one. That means if you break something, it's really costly for you. So you don't want to do this kind of things in Turkey. You need expert, you need repairman, and most probably we have highest price for cars in world.
Interesting. No, yeah, I did not realize that. And then, so how do you plan to manage? Like, I would imagine spare parts for cars, right? There's thousands of different parts and different vendors. So maybe you can talk about how you're gonna manage that and make sure that you have
Of course,
the best selection of parts available, so that people in Turkey use Otorepa as like their go-to source for those types of parts.
I think it's an important point and important feature of the Otorepa. Normally, some of the websites selling the product, selling the auto spare parts for everyone else. But at that point, you don't know the correct parts for your cars, because there's some OEM codes for every single part, and if you are not expert, you don't know the correct parts that you are buying. So at that point, our solution is a closed marketplace. That means if you are expert, you can buy the product from that marketplace, that Otorepa actually. And so otherwise, for example, for that e-commerce websites, people are buying, but they are refunding back. It's a 20% of the whole transactions is refunding because of the wrong parts buying. So that we just want to reduce this percentage until 1%, and so that we create a closed marketplace only professional for auto spare part industry.
And so is it the repairman? Who's the expert that can buy the part? Is it that repairman? And that way,
repairman and also retailers. Repairman and retailers, buyer and seller at the same time.
And so what you're doing is you're eliminating a lot of those other middlemen that are adding commission. So
Yes,
you're cutting it down to basically one transaction versus 5 transactions, and it saves the consumer money.
It's
exactly,
really
and also
prices.
Exactly, and also we solved the problem for finding the part as well, because in Turkey everything is intensified in larger cities like Istanbul, Ankara, or Izmir, but in the other cities in Turkey as well, they need some parts, but for example, they cannot reach the wholesalers or distributors directly, or even sometimes the wholesalers cannot have this part as well. Let's say just a few days ago, we visited one of our current user, and then we moved to another user just within the same city, Istanbul. They didn't know each other, and they didn't know that they have the parts they are looking for. And that's why we will make it possible to creating a unified marketplace for whole Turkey. So maybe you are just a serviceman in Istanbul, let's say, and you are looking for a part, and you can find it from maybe thousands of kilometers away within Turkey, just with a few clicks.
And we talked about this earlier. Can you guys kind of expand on why you decided to found this? If you already had something with the Trexio that you were passionate about, it seems like it's going well. why go into the auto parts business? Does it kind of tie back to passion? Does it tie back to solving a really big issue that you guys have experienced in your home country? What is the reason? I'm curious.
Yep, for sure. Maybe I can start and give it to Furkan. At this part, Atrixio is our below, maybe I can say. And by there is the important point in Atrixio. Atrixio is not a startup, maybe I can say. We are product development company, and how can I say, we are building other people's dreams in Atrixio. They are not exactly our dream, but we also have a entrepreneurship passion and maybe virus, I can say. So we are always checking the possibilities to creating our next big things, and we think that Otorepa is our personal next big thing.
I can say that why of spare part industry. Uh, when I was doing e-commerce jewelry things, after that I did a selling auto spare parts in e-commerce websites, and I saw that there's a really big market, but need a solution because they are more conservative people, and it's not digitalized enough. And if we digitalize this their process, because I know them, for example, my father is the one of the manager of the biggest company in Turkey about the auto spare parts industry, so that I'm familiar with them. They are friends of my father, and so I have personal passion for digitalizing this absurd process because people are not understand the potential of the industry because for that absurd methods they are creating a $15 billion per year. If we digitize it, we can multiply a whole sector in a couple of years. So it's a potential for industry, it's a potential for country, it's a potential for the region actually.
Yeah, I think it makes sense. I like your point, Kemal, where you say we're not building other people's dreams here; we're building ours.
Yep.
I will point out though, and I think this is a common thing that entrepreneurs run across is jumping from one thing to another, of saying, okay, like this is our idea of the month or the quarter. I mean, have you guys talked about that at all? Where you say, okay, Otorepa is our dream, we want to build it, but we know it's going to be a difficult journey, but we're going to stick with this for 5 years, 10 years down the line. Has that been a consideration at all?
Yeah, for sure. Maybe I can say that we killed so many applications because we are creating a new project is pretty easy for us because we are already doing this, and within the hype times, maybe I can say we built so many projects, but before all of them, we already knew that they are side projects, and we just built them and we just try to make them bigger, but we don't feel any passion about it. So there are so many projects we just started a bit, continued, but and then stop them completely. The Otorepa is different than all of them because all these products were like just a mobile application for us, maybe I can say. But in Otorepa part, we have other partners as well, just not just Furkan and I. And there are some partners for branding and for a legal thing, and also from the industry part. So we have so many partners, and I think this is the one of the most important thing to creating a journey for long term. If you are responsible for other people, it makes you more motivated to make it more successful because from the day zero, we say that, okay, each month we will create a report and we will share this report with our shareholders. So it makes you motivated to create something new in the next month because, for example, let's say in January, you say that I'm trying to writing this report, but we didn't do anything. I cannot write anything. So, okay, and the February, we need to make something new so I can create the report easily. I think this kind of thing makes your job easier and makes you more motivated. And I'm pretty sure that we will continue this Otorepa journey until we exit our company. Say that.
Anything to add there, Furkan, or did Kemal sum it up well?
I can't add anything else because Kemal explained our
Okay.
thoughts.
Yeah. All good. So maybe just to kind of wrap up Otorepa, like as you look out over the next year and 5 years, where do you want to be? And Kemal, you mentioned something about an exit. Like, do you guys have a roadmap of saying, like, in 5 years, we want to build it up to this number and position it to be acquired? Or have you thought about that? Where does that stand?
Actually, I can answer this question. Uh, It's a really big market, as I said before. We just want to get 10% of the whole market, but it means lots, and it's a $1.5 billion market. So when we are reach if when we are reached that point, most probably we will do the best exit in Turkey because of the biggest problem that we solve and getting this percentage of the market.
Because for us, the biggest advantage is that we are pioneer in this industry, in this vertical, because the auto spare parts industry is one of the largest industry in Turkey. But you need to merge two things to create something new in this industry. The first one is you must have a great network, and these people should accept you as a new member of this community, because it's a really close community. I can say this: servicemen, the retailers, etc. And the second one is you must really good at creating products. So with all these partnerships and Furkan's father's support, we gathered a very valuable network, which created within 30 years. And also we merged it with our product development expertise. So there is a huge opportunity for us, because we will be the first one in this industry, and it will be like the creating Amazon without any competitor. So there's a huge opportunity if we can succeed in this journey.
And then one other thing, because I didn't ask you, and I'm just curious, how do you guys plan to monetize this or make money? Is it that you will get where will the money come to Otorepa for those using your platform?
We are getting commission per transactions, like Amazon actually, and also as you already know, we are holding the money for 10 business days, so there's a interest income for that period, and maybe its interest rate is really high in Turkey for now, and it can be a possible good cash flow for us.
Okay, gotcha. No, I think that makes sense, and I wish you guys the best of luck building it. It sounds like you got big dreams, which is awesome.
Thank you.
And then maybe just to close out, I just want a couple more questions for you guys. And if you had to give advice to your younger selves, back when you guys had first met or graduated from university and decided to try this entrepreneurship thing, what would you tell yourselves? Would you change anything? What would you tell yourselves and why?
I can say my pregraduate myself, because when I was found my first company, I was a student, so it's not possible for me for that question. So you can start, Kemal.
Yeah, for me, maybe I can say that do not think and plan too much, because previously when I want to do something new, I started creating a plan for myself and thinking about it before taking action. Instead, I can say that just do a brief plan. Of course, you need to know where do you want to go briefly, and then just take action, because the path and the road will change along this journey. So you should be adaptable for everything during this journey. Maybe the only advice I can give to younger myself.
And what about you, Furkan, or just maybe like for young entrepreneurs in general? What advice would you give them, knowing what you know now?
I think I have suggested at the beginning of the podcast, but I can say that again. Don't work hard, just work smart, because it's the key point of being an entrepreneur. I think because you can be a regular if you work hard, but if you are working smart and if you can buy some services, you should buy it. Not you shouldn't do everything else, even if you can do that, because you have to understand the system. You should pay lesser than your hourly rate, actually. So otherwise you can't be good enough, I think.
Yeah, I think you're saying right, like outsource. If you can outsource things and someone else can do them just as well as you can, so it frees you up to do, higher priority things, right? It
Of
is really
course.
important.
Eisenhower
Um,
metrics.
yeah. And so I have another question too, just kind of another hypothetical. Let's say you guys tomorrow lose everything, no money in your bank accounts. How would you start over? And I think we talked a little bit about it, Furkan, in the past. You've had to do this. So, but what would you guys build, or where would you start to say, okay, I need to start making money quickly and rebuilding? What would you guys do?
I think that, by the way, the most important thing we can monetize is, of course, our development skills. If tomorrow I lost everything, I can convert these skills to money. And aside from that, I think that our experience are pretty important for startups, because as an entrepreneur, maybe you can create 3 or 4 startups in your lifetime, and you can just get experience from them. But as an agency like us, you work with so many startups, and you gathering their experiences as well. For example, right until now, we collected more than 40 startups experiences there, the things they do right, the things they did wrong. So we collect all these experiences, and I think that we can monetize this advisory, this experience as a consultancy to other people.
I think Kemal already answered the question, because most probably we will do it together.
Yeah, for sure.
It's a good point.
It's the biggest thing. It's important thing. It's most important thing for us, because you can't find easily for co-founders, and you should find a co-founder for this kind of dreams, I think.
By the way, maybe at this moment I can emphasize this thing. Easy to say, but really hard to implement. But we experienced it with Furkan during our partnership. Whenever we focus on earning money, we couldn't earn any money. But whenever we try to just doing our business well, or just doing the things we really want to do, we earn money from somewhere. I don't know how this things works, but there is a period like that, and we really experienced it. If we say, okay, let's earn so much money, we couldn't find anything. We couldn't find clients. We couldn't find money. But when we just try to doing our job well and just be happy the things what we are doing at that time, we earn money from somewhere else. So maybe this might be the hardest to implement, but really important advice for the other people as well.
Yeah, I think it's a good point, right? Money's almost a byproduct. If you just focus on providing value to whoever your customer
Yes,
is,
Of course.
it just kind of comes naturally, right? So I think that's a really good point. Okay, one other kind of hypothetical question just to close this out, and this kind of has to do with like business leaders or other entrepreneurs you guys may look up to, and you could pick anybody in the world, alive or dead. If you were to pick somebody to join your team to build Otorepa with you, who would you pick and why?
Personally, I prefer Elon Musk, most probably, because he is good at
Yeah.
marketing sales, and he can solve lots of our problems, I think. And also Kemal, sorry, but I can pick the Steve Jobs at the same time, because he is also good at the selling parts of the things, and I think it's an important point for any startup. If you can sell, you can do anything else.
Yes. By the way, my questions were not Elon Musk or Steve Jobs, so it's completely okay for us. I don't know if we can take them to this time experience. Maybe I can say that I would be happy to work with Henry Ford for this kind of business, because he is from the industry and he is one of the biggest innovator for me. I cannot remember the quote exactly, but he said that if I ask my clients, they just wanted faster horse from me, then inventing cars. So I think that he might be one of the biggest transfer for us.
Very cool. Yeah, and you never know. Elon Musk, you could just tweet to him, Furkan, maybe he'll join. But
Maybe.
We should try our chance.
I think that's really interesting, just to kind of get your guys' perspective on what's important to building, right, and what those type of people would provide. But I think we could kind of wrap up here. I want to thank you guys for taking the time. I know you're super busy. I'll give you the floor to close. Any final thoughts and where people can find you, and find out about Otorepa, Trexio, all your stuff?
Yeah, maybe as a last word, I can say that thanks, Connor, for having us today. And they can reach us via social media. By the way, if they just search Kemal Serbet in Instagram, Twitter, or LinkedIn, they can directly reach me, and I would be happy to get in touch with everyone who want to ask their questions or want to do anything together.
Also, thank you, Connor. It's a really nice conversation for me. And also people can reach me, especially in LinkedIn. If you can write Muhammed Furkan Yılmaz, you can find me because I'm using LinkedIn so much. Thank you for all listeners and for Connor.